David stood in front of a giant metal door. His bags were heavy, but his heart was light with hope. He was the first human to rent a place on the Zalvorian space station, a massive alien city floating between the stars. It was a place of tall towers, neon lights, and strange creatures with colorful skin and glowing eyes. David knocked on the door. A moment later, it slid open with a soft hiss. A tall, scaled alien stood there, her yellow eyes sharp and her skin dark purple with silver lines. She looked down at him with curiosity and a bit of suspicion. "You must be the human," she said, her voice deep and smooth. "Yes, ma'am." "David Foster," he replied, offering his hand. The alien woman stared at his hand, confused, then stepped aside. "I am Vora, your landlady. Follow me." David entered the apartment. The walls shimmered with soft lights that moved like water. The floor felt warm under his boots. The furniture was large and made of materials he couldn't name. It smelled like spices and metal. "This place is amazing," David said, looking around. Vora folded her arms. "You're the first of your kind here. Don't cause trouble, human. My rules are strict," David smiled. "Understood. I'm just here to work and live quietly." Vora stared at him for a moment longer. "We'll see," she muttered, then left. The door sliding shut behind her. David unpacked his things and settled into the alien room. The bed was huge, made for someone twice his size. He adjusted his clothes and walked around the station to explore. Everywhere he went, aliens stared at him, whispering and pointing. He didn't understand their language fully yet, but one word kept coming up. Shai-Hulud. It puzzled him. What did that mean? Why were they saying it while looking at him? When he returned home that night, he saw Vora standing outside his door, talking to two other aliens. They stopped talking when he appeared, watching him with wide eyes. "What's going on?" David asked politely. Vora squinted at him. "Just neighbors. Talking about you." David chuckled nervously. "Good things, I hope." The aliens didn't answer. They just walked away, shaking their heads. David went inside, but the strange word Shai-Hulud stayed in his mind. He decided to ask Vora about it later. The next morning, David tried to fix a leaking pipe in the bathroom. He wore shorts and a tank top because the station was always warm. He worked under the sink when suddenly, the door to his room slid open. Vora had come in without knocking. "Human, what is this wet noise?" She barked. Startled, David stood up quickly, bumping his head under the sink. As he did, his shorts shifted, and for a moment, Vora saw something between his legs that made her eyes go wide. She gasped loudly, pointing a shaking finger at him. "Human, why do you have a mini Shai-Hulud between your legs?" David froze. What did you say?" Vora's face was a mix of shock, fear, and fascination. She stumbled backward, her voice rising. That thing, that's a Shai-Hulud. You're hiding one." David had no idea what she was talking about. It's just ... It's normal. I'm a human. This is anatomy." But Vora didn't listen. She ran out the door, shouting. Down the hallway, the human hides a mini Shai-Hulud. The legends are true. David stood there, completely confused and embarrassed. What the hell is a Shai-Hulud? Why is she screaming? Within minutes, a crowd of aliens gathered outside his door, whispering and arguing. Some looked afraid. Others looked curious. All were talking about the human and his Shai-Hulud. David peeked through the window, realizing things were getting out of hand. He didn't know the full meaning of the word, but it was clearly important and dangerous. He sat on the bed, his mind racing. I just got here, and already I'm a freak show. Great. He needed answers. What was this Shai-Hulud they feared? Why did they think he was hiding a creature inside him? Suddenly, his communication device buzzed. A message appeared. It was from an unknown sender. Human, If you truly carry the money Shai-Hulud, you must be careful. The station elders will not let you live freely. They will come for you soon. David's heart pounded. Someone was watching him. Someone knew more than Vora did. The station was no longer quiet. News of the mini Shai-Hulud spread like fire across the alien city. Whispers, gasps, and even laughter filled the hallways. Yet none of them dared approach David except to stare from a distance, as if he carried something dangerous. David sat near his window, watching the aliens gather and whisper. He clenched his fists, frustrated. He was just a human, trying to survive among aliens, and now he was being treated like a ticking time bomb. Then his door chimed. David stood carefully. "Who is it?" "It's me," came Vora's voice, softer than before. He opened the door cautiously. Vora stood there, her yellow eyes no longer angry, but curious, almost nervous. "I did not mean to alarm the station," she said, her voice lower. "But I had to warn them, if it's true." "Then you may be a danger," David frowned. "I don't even know what you're talking about. What is this Shai-Hulud?" Vora looked around, checking the hall was empty, then stepped inside. She sat down, her long tail curling around her feet. "In our culture," she explained, "the Shai-Hulud is a sacred ancient worm, a beast of legends. It lives deep within sands, under our old worlds. It is powerful, deadly, but holy." David raised an eyebrow. "But why compare me to it? I don't have a worm living in me." Vora's cheeks flushed a deep violet. "We have never seen a human. And when I saw that thing between your legs, it looked like the description of the mini Shai-Hulud." David groaned and covered his face. "Vora, that's just human biology. That's not a worm. That single quotes s private." She tilted her head, confused. "But it moves on its own?" David's face turned red. "Sometimes. It's natural. It's not alive by itself." Vora watched him in silence, still suspicious. "Even if you say so, the elders won't believe it." David sat beside her, sighing. "What do the elders want?" Vora looked grim. "Long ago, legends said that if anyone carried a mini Shai-Hulud, they could awaken the sleeping giant, a real Shai-Hulud buried beneath this station. The elders believe that person could either control it, or be devoured by it." David's heart raced. "You're telling me there's an actual giant worm under this station?" Vora nodded. "And the elders will not risk it waking. They may capture you, or worse." Suddenly, David's communicator buzzed again. Another message. "Leave your room. Go to the lower sectors. You are in danger. Dr. Calrix." "Who's Calrix?" David whispered. Vora's eyes narrowed. "Calrix? The rebel scientist? Dangerous. He studies forbidden things." David stood up. "If he knows what's happening, I need to see him." Vora grabbed his arm. "No. If you leave now, the elders will catch you. If Calrix is caught, anyone with him will be executed." David looked at her hand on his arm, seeing a flicker of real concern in her eyes. "Why do you care?" he asked. Vora looked away. "Because I don't think you're a threat, human." "Just stupid," David smirked. "Thanks, I guess." But before either of them could say more, the apartment lights flickered. A station-wide announcement echoed. "Attention. The elders will begin a sacred inspection in Sector 9. All residents must cooperate. The human will be brought forward." Sector 9, that was David's district. Vora's eyes widened. "They're coming." David stepped back. "I have to leave now." Vora looked torn. She paced, hissing lowly. Then she sighed heavily. "Fine. There's a maintenance tunnel behind your bath chamber. Use it. It leads down to the lower sectors." David grabbed his bag quickly. "Thank you, Vora." She stood in his way one last time. "Human ... if you awaken the Shai-Hulud, I will kill you myself." David gave a weak smile. Noted. He rushed to the bathroom, moving aside panels to reveal the tunnel entrance. Just before he climbed inside, he glanced back. Vora stood silently. Watching him, though. There was fear in her eyes. But something else, too, regret. David crawled through the narrow tunnel, the metal cold against his skin. The station rumbled slightly, footsteps of patrols moving closer. Ending hook. As he reached the lower levels, a shadowy figure waited. For him, tall, thin, with bioluminescent markings. It was Dr. Calrix. Calrix's eyes glowed as he whispered, "Human, you have no idea what you're carrying. If the elders find you, they'll feed you to the worm before you can speak." More unequally than before, David stood before the towering figure of Dr. Calrix, an alien unlike any David had seen. Calrix's skin shimmered like oil under light, his eyes a piercing glow of violet. Strange devices hung from his belt, softly, humming with energy. David caught his breath. "You single quotes re Calrix?" Calrix studied him silently, his eyes scanning up and down. Then, he spoke in a calm, low voice. "Yes, and you, human, are more trouble than I expected." David stepped forward. "I don't even know why. I didn't ask for any of this. What is this Shai-Hulud? Why is everyone acting like I'm a threat?" Calrix tilted his head. "Because you are. To them, at least." David frowned. "I'm just a normal human. They saw my anatomy and started screaming about some worm." Calrix chuckled softly, shaking his head. "Of course they did. The Zelvorians have deep myths. For them, the Shai-Hulud is not just a creature, it is a god, a destroyer, and a rebirth machine. And your human biology resembles the symbols they carved in their ancient temples." David blinked. "Wait, symbols? Like, my anatomy is their prophecy?" Calrix nodded. "Exactly. Thousands of cycles ago, an ancient race, possibly human or human-like, visited Zelvorian worlds. They brought technology, knowledge, and it seems their appearance influenced the locals. Especially that one feature of yours." David groaned, embarrassed. "So because of that, they think I'm carrying a god inside me?" Calrix's voice turned serious. "Not just a god. A key." The station was built over the resting place of the real Shai-Hulud. It sleeps deep in the planet's crust. Their ancestors built the station here to watch over it. But the elders secretly believe that one day a carrier would awaken. David's mouth went dry. "And they think that's me?" "Yes," Calrix confirmed. "And if they catch you, they'll try to awaken the worm to see if the prophecy is true. But if you fail, the worm will wake hungry, and it will destroy this entire station." David paced nervously. "Why do I have to be the chosen one? I didn't sign up for this." Calrix smiled faintly. "Because your DNA matches the markers left by those ancient humans. The station's core sensors detected you. The elders already know." David stopped. "Then what do I do?" Calrix pulled a small device from his belt, a sphere with blinking lights. "We go to the control core deep in the station. There, you can either lock the Shai-Hulud in its slumber forever, or accidentally wake it." David stared at the sphere. "No pressure, huh?" Calrix's eyes glimmered. "If we don't act, they'll catch you and force the awakening. Then, it won't be just this station. The worm could grow, escape, and devour nearby worlds." Suddenly, the walls shook. A distant alarm echoed, loud footsteps marching above. "They've sealed the upper sectors," Calrix said grimly. "They're coming for you, human." David clenched his fists. "Let's go." Calrix led him through twisting tunnels, dark and damp, wires hanging like roots. Strange lights flickered. Shadows moved, creatures and things David couldn't name. "Why are you helping me?" David asked as they moved. Calrix glanced back. "Because I believe in knowledge, not superstition." If the Shai-Hulud awakens, it will not be divine judgment. It will be mass extinction. And I will not let fear guide my people. They reached a heavy blast door, sealed tight. Calrix attached his device, lights flashing rapidly. As the door began to open, David asked, "What happens if I fail?" Calrix's face was cold. "Then we die." The door creaked open, revealing a vast chamber glowing with alien machinery, pulsating veins of light running along the walls. At the center, a giant console waited, its screen glowing red, showing a single word in Zelvorian, "Awakening." David's heart pounded. "They've already started it," Calrix nodded. "Then we're running out of time." But before they could move, a voice boomed across the chamber. "So the human runs like a coward, hiding with traitors." David turned. It was High Tharkal, the massive elder, with Vora and armed guards at his side. Vora's eyes flickered with conflict, but she said nothing. Tharkal pointed his staff at David. "You carry the mini Shai-Hulud. The prophecy demands your sacrifice. Step forward, or we take you by force." David looked at Calrix, then back at Tharkal. "I'm done running," David said, voice firm. "If this is about me, then I'll face it, but on my terms." More unequally than any moment before, David stood between the towering figure of High Tharkal and the glowing core console. Behind him, Dr. Calrix whispered, "Don't trust them. Every word is a trap." Vora stepped forward, her sharp eyes fixed on David. She looked different now, not the strict landlady he knew, but someone torn between fear, greed, and something else. "Something darker, David," Vora said slowly, her voice softer than before. "You can't run from this. The elders believe you are the chosen carrier. If you come with us, we can perform the ritual safely. You might even survive." David laughed bitterly. "Perform a ritual? That sounds like a fancy way of saying, 'Kill me for science.'" Vora flinched but said nothing. Tharkal raised his staff. "Come willingly, human, or we'll tear the knowledge from your bones." Calrix whispered urgently, "We can activate the override, but we need time." David's mind raced. Then he looked at Vora, studying her carefully. "Why are you doing this?" "I thought you wanted to protect your home." Vora's lips trembled. She stepped closer. I was offered a position among the elders if I helped. Riches, status. I'm tired of being a simple landlady." David shook his head in disbelief. "You betrayed me for a promotion?" Vora's face twisted with guilt. "I didn't think you'd survive this long, I thought. If you awakened the Shai-Hulud, at least I'd be safe. I didn't expect to care." David's eyes narrowed. "Care? Now you care?" The ground trembled lightly, a low rumble beneath their feet. Tharkal smiled darkly. "The worm stirs. The carrier's presence is waking it. Come, human, step forward, fulfill the prophecy." Calrix hissed, "Don't listen to them, David. If you connect to the console, you can command it, not awaken it. But you must focus, or it'll devour us all." David looked between Vora and Calrix, between betrayal and hope. "Why should I trust you, Vora?" he asked coldly. Vora's shoulders slumped. "Because I didn't expect you to fight for us. I thought humans were weak. But you're not." The rumbling grew stronger. The chamber walls glowed faintly, veins of power lighting up like the station's blood. David clenched his fists. "If I step forward, will you help me? Or stab me in the back?" Vora's eyes shimmered, conflicted. Then she nodded. "I'll help you, I swear." Tharkal snarled. "She's lying." "She's always been a coward." David stepped forward. "No, she's greedy, not stupid. She knows if this worm wakes, nobody survives, not even her." Vora flinched. Shame on her face. "You're right." Calrix moved to the console, connecting his device. "David, put your hand on the panel. It'll scan your DNA. You'll have a short window to command the system. David placed his hand on the glowing surface. Instantly, the screen changed. Human ancestry detected. Activation path open. State your command. Tharkle roared, charging forward. No, the human must awaken the Shai-Hulud. Vora, finally choosing her side, stepped between Tharkle and David. Nitrogen monoxide, I won't let you. She drew a strange electric blade and clashed with Tharkle. Sparks flew as she struggled to hold him back. David closed his eyes, focusing. I command the Shai-Hulud to sleep, to rest forever. The station shook violently. The lights flashed. A deep, distant growl echoed from the planet's crust, so deep and powerful it made David's bones rattle. System response. Command ... received. Stabilizing core. Shai-Hulud returning to dormancy. Calric shouted, You did it! But Tharkle struck Vora down, sending her crashing to the floor. He roared in fury, You fool! You've doomed us to stagnation. The Shai-Hulud was our salvation. Calric stepped forward, a small plasma device in hand. Touch him again, Tharkle, and I'll end you. Tharkle paused, chest heaving, eyes wild. David knelt by Vora. She was alive but wounded. Blood oozing from her side, she looked up weakly. I tried to fix my mistake, David nodded. You did, now stay still. Calric sneered at Tharkle. It's over. The human has sealed the worm. You have no more power here. Tharkle growled, retreating slowly. You've made enemies today, human. The elders won't forget this. As the old alien fled, Calric helped David lift Vora. We need to leave, Calric said. Before more of them come, David nodded. Let's go. Ending hook. As they escaped the chamber, David looked back one last time. The console glowed. Softly, the core stable. But deep below, he could still feel it, the Shai-Hulud, sleeping, waiting for another awakening. Or for the human to return. More unequally than any danger he had faced before, David now moved through the hidden corridors of the station, half carrying Vora with Dr. Calric leading the way. Vora's breathing was shallow, but her eyes stayed open, guilt swimming in them. DIDN single quotes D. mean for this, she whispered. David shook his head. We'll talk about that later. Right now you need to stay alive. They stopped in a maintenance bay, cold and dimly lit. Calric pulled a medical device from his satchel and pressed it against Vora's wound. A soft glow stitched the flesh together slowly. We can't stay here long, Calric muttered. Tharkle escaped. He'll return with more guards, maybe even the elders themselves. David sat against the wall, still breathing hard. But the core is stable, right? The worm's still sleeping. Calric didn't answer immediately. He checked his handheld scanner. Slowly his face darkened. No, Calric whispered. It's not sleeping anymore. David stood up fast. What? I gave the command. Calric nodded grimly. You did, but something else ... Something deeper in the system is still waking the Shai-Hulud. There's a second protocol. Something I didn't expect. Vora coughed. Weakly, the ... elders must have planted a hidden override. They didn't trust the prophecy alone. If the human was found, the worm was programmed to awaken. No matter what, David's heart dropped. So even though I stopped it, it's still waking up? The station trembled again, not like before. This was deeper, slower ... Like the heartbeat of a giant creature, Calric's scanner beeped. Urgently, its consciousness is stirring. The beast is aware. David swallowed hard. We need to get back to the core. We have to stop it. Calric looked conflicted. If we return, it might be too late. The Shai-Hulud is ancient, powerful, beyond measure. If it wakes fully, no command can stop it. David's mind raced. Then we wake it, but on my terms. If it listens to anyone, it'll listen to me, right? Calrix hesitated. There's no guarantee, but you might be the only one it recognizes. Vora pushed herself up weakly. I single quotes LL dot help you get there. I know a faster route. David stared at her, surprised. After all this, you're helping me? She looked away, ashamed. I can't undo my betrayal. But I can help you survive it. David gave a small nod. Then let's go. They moved quickly through shadowy tunnels, the walls humming with strange energy. Lights flickered. The deeper they went, the warmer the air grew, almost like walking closer to the heart of a volcano. Suddenly, a loud groan echoed through the metal, a sound that wasn't mechanical. It was alive. A deep, rumbling growl from beneath the floors. Calrix whispered, "It's moving. It's truly waking." They reached the core chamber again, but now it looked different. The walls pulsed with orange-red light, as if veins under skin. The console glowed ominously. And beneath the transparent floor panels, something massive stirred in the depths. David stepped forward, feeling the floor vibrate with each slow movement. Of the worm below, a voice echoed in the chamber, deep, ancient, not from any speaker, but from the walls themselves. Who calls me? David swallowed, stepping to the console. It's me the human. The voice rumbled like thunder. You are flesh of the old ones, their seed. Why, do you wake me? Calrix whispered, stunned. It speaks through the station. David steadied his voice. I don't want to wake you. I want you to sleep. If you awaken, everything here dies. The voice chuckled, low and terrifying. Death. OIFE, it is the same. But I remember your kind. You sealed me. Long ago. You hold the key, and so I listen. David exhaled shakily. Then listen well. I command you to stay asleep. This is not your time. There was silence. Then the chamber trembled harder. I obey, but I hunger always. Bring me tribute. Or I wake again. David frowned. Tribute? Calrix's eyes widened. It wants offerings sacrifices like in the old days. David shook his head. No, I won't feed anyone to you. But I'll find a way to sustain you. Without blood. The voice rumbled again. Then, sleep I shall for now. With that, the chamber lights dimmed. The trembling stopped. The worm had returned. To its slumber, David collapsed to his knees, exhausted. Vora leaned on the wall, breathing hard. Calrix stared at the console, awed. You did it, Calrix said quietly. You made it listen. David looked up, his face pale but determined. But for how long? It wants food. And next time, it might not wait. Ending hook, suddenly. The console beeped again, a message flashing across the screen. Tribute timer initiated. Time until next awakening. 30 days. David's eyes widened. We only bought a month. After that it wakes for real. Asterisk more unequally than any nightmare. The message on the console burned into David's mind. Tribute timer initiated. Time until next awakening. 30 days. 30 days. Just 1 month before the Shai-Hulud would wake again, this time unstoppable, hungry and ready to consume everything. David stood there frozen until Calrix touched his shoulder. We don't have time to panic. If there's a timer there, must be a way to stop or reset it. We just need to find it. Vora, still weak but standing, muttered, The elders might know something. The council has kept ancient records, hidden from the common people. David clenched his fists. Where? Vora looked ashamed. Beneath the council hall, the vault of ancients. But no one enters unless they're an elder. Or dead. Calrix's eyes lit up. Then that's where we go. If the Shai-Hulud knows humans, maybe those records. Explain why, and how to stop the cycle. David nodded, determination hardening his face. Let's go. Before Tharkle returns with an army. The trio made their way through side tunnels, avoiding patrols. The station buzzed with tension, as if even the walls knew the beast below was stirring. As they approached the council hall, Vora explained, the vault is below, behind ceremonial doors. They're coded to elder DNA, but maybe, with your human genes, you can bypass them. David raised an eyebrow. Why me? Vora stared at him. Because you're the descendant of the old ones. The console recognized you. If anyone can open sealed doors meant for ancient humans, it's you. They reached a massive set of metal doors, engraved with alien runes and spiral patterns that resembled vorms. In the center, a handprint carved in stone. David stepped forward and placed his hand on it. At first, nothing. Then lights ignited around the door, scanning his palm, his face, his DNA. A soft hum filled the air, and the doors slowly parted. Calrix whispered, "You carry their blood. There's no doubt." Beyond the door was a dark chamber lined with glowing crystal walls. Holographic symbols hovered, and strange devices hummed quietly. At the center stood a pedestal, and atop it, a large, flat stone tablet with ancient carvings. David stepped closer. As he did, the symbols lit up and translated into his language. The Shai-Hulud was born from human hands. A bioengineered titan, created to terraform dead worlds. But it became too powerful, too hungry. The ancients sealed it deep, encoding control into their bloodlines. Only their descendants could command it. David's eyes widened. We made it. Humans made this thing. Calrix's voice was low with awe. So the legends were true, but twisted over time. Vora read over his shoulder. Then that means you're the key, David, not by prophecy, but by design. David swallowed hard. But if it was built for terraforming, why does it eat everything? Another section of the tablet lit up. If starved, the Shai-Hulud reverts to instinct, consuming life to sustain itself. Without proper energy feeds, it devours all. Calrix muttered, so it's not evil. It's hungry. Designed to reshape worlds, but when abandoned, it turned into a monster. David clenched his fists. Then we have to feed it, the right way. There must be a non-living energy source. They searched the vault. Among the records, they found a faded hologram of a device, the core siphon, capable of delivering pure energy directly to the Shai-Hulud without feeding it life. Calrix studied the blueprint. It can work. But it needs rare minerals. Xenonite crystals only mined on the outer moons, Vora sighed. That'll take time we don't have. David looked at the timer on his wrist device, ticking down from 29 days and 12 hours. We'll make time. David said firmly. We get the crystals, we build the siphon. We feed the beast clean energy, or the station becomes its first meal. Calrix nodded. I'll prepare tools and designs. Vora, gather what allies you can, quietly. We can't let Tharkle know. Vora agreed. I owe you, human. I'll help. David stood, staring at the ancient writings one last time. The words of his ancestors echoed in his head. The Shai-Hulud sleeps for those who feed it. It wakes for those who forget. Ending hook. As they left the vault, far above them in the council chambers, Tharkle stood before the remaining elders. We cannot wait, Tharkle growled. In 30 days the worm wakes. If we cannot control it, then the human must be destroyed before he tries. And with that, a death order was issued. David Foster was now the most wanted being on the station. More unequally than any trial he had faced yet, David now carried the weight of two worlds, the alien station above and the monstrous Shai-Hulud slumbering below. Time was running fast. The countdown timer on his wrist glowed relentlessly. 23 days remaining. Calrix worked day and night in his hidden lab, designing the core siphon, a machine that could feed the Shai-Hulud with pure energy instead of life. But the vital ingredient, the xenonite crystals, could only be mined from the outer moon. That meant danger, not just from the environment, but from the Elders' assassins. A death order had been issued. Kill the human on sight. Vora, still weak but determined, gathered a small group of secret allies, aliens tired of the Elders' lies, willing to help David. "This is madness," one of them whispered. "Helping a human ... against our own Elders?" Vora snapped. "Help him, or we all get eaten." Simple choice. David stood before them. "I'm not your enemy. I'm not your god. I'm just the poor idiot who got stuck with this problem. But I'll fix it, or die trying." Their first mission: travel to the outer moon and retrieve the xenonite crystals. Quirks provided stealth suits and a small shuttle, but warned, "Tharkal has spies everywhere. Be quick, be silent." As they approached the moon, the gray surface stretched endlessly, jagged and dead, except for deep caves glowing faintly blue, rich with xenonite. David led the way, suit-powered, breathing steady. Vora followed, her blade ready, but as they mined the glowing crystals, a shadow moved. Tharkal's elite hunters had followed them. "Take the human alive." The hunter leader barked. "The Elders want his head delivered personally." A firefight broke out. Beams of light sizzled through the caves. David ducked behind a boulder, breathing hard. Vora fought like a demon, her blade slicing, her eyes blazing. She looked at David and shouted, "You finished the job. I'll hold them off." David grabbed the last of the crystals, shoving them into his pack. But the hunters surrounded him, weapons raised. One of them sneered, "You think you can stop the Shai-Hulud? You're just meat." David stood, defiant. "I may be meat, but I'm the meat with the key." Suddenly, a blast echoed. Quirks had arrived with backup, firing from the shuttle. The hunters scattered, and David sprinted aboard, Vora leaping in behind him. As the shuttle soared away, David looked at the crystal in his hands. One step closer. Timer, 17 days remaining. Back on the station, Quirks worked furiously, assembling the core siphon. The machine pulsed with light, intricate circuits designed to interface with the station's ancient systems. Vora stood by David. "You'll have to go back to the core alone. Only your DNA can activate the siphon fully," David smirked. "Figures. Always me." Quirks handed him a control rod. "Insert this into the core's heart. Once it activates, the siphon will channel pure energy directly to the Shai-Hulud." Vora whispered, "And if it doesn't work?" Quirks was silent. David strapped the device to his back. "Then I improvise." Timer, 5 days remaining. David, Quirks, and Vora made their final descent to the core chamber. But standing before the entrance was High Tharkal himself, surrounded by dozens of armed guards. Tharkal sneered, "You've come far, human." "But it ends here." David stepped forward, fearless. "Step aside, Tharkal, or die standing," Tharkal roared. "You are not worthy of commanding the Shai-Hulud. Only the Elders can decide its fate." David raised his fists. "I'm done waiting for permission." Quirks and Vora charged in, engaging the guards. Blasts echoed, blades clashed. David sprinted past the chaos. Diving into the core chamber, the ground shook violently. The worm was waking. He could feel its breath beneath his feet. At the heart of the core, the console awaited, glowing red. The countdown flashed. One day, David slammed the control rod into the console. The core siphon whirred, lights pulsing, power surging deep. Below. Then, the chamber trembled as a deafening voice spoke again. "Human. You return, to feed me or to die?" David stood firm. "I bring you what you need, pure energy, not blood." The Shai-Hulud rumbled, skeptical. "You deny me flesh. Yet offer power? I remember your kind. Treacherous. Clever." David stared into the depths, take the energy and sleep. Or wake and find nothing but fire. For a long moment, silence. Then, peace. The shaking stopped. The core siphon's light stabilized. I accept, for now. The hunger ... fades, sleep ... returns. The console turned green. The countdown stopped. David collapsed to his knees. Exhausted but relieved. Cal Rix and Vora entered, bruised but alive. Tharkle was gone, fled with his remaining forces. Vora helped David up. You did it, human. You fed the god. Without blood. David smiled weakly. I'm not a god, just stubborn. Calrix grinned. And now the Shai-Hulud sleeps because of you. Final ending scene. Back on the surface, news spread of David's success. The station no longer whispered Shai-Hulud in fear. Now they spoke of the human who tamed the beast. David looked at his friends. Next time, I'm picking a vacation spot without ancient monsters. They laughed together, but deep below, the Shai-Hulud dreamed. And the human's name echoed in its ancient mind. ... Foster. The one who fed me. The one I remember.